This is a capture from today, 4th of August. Now, I'll just freeze it at this frame. It's a fantastic image. Now, I learned all this from Laszlo Novak, YouTube, Color UFO, spelt with a U. Color, C-O-L-O-U-R, UFO. So he's filmed these all motherships of all these special shapes and all sorts of special things. Now, when I zoom in on that one, it was just a magic. You'll see the tubes there. Now, if I press the button, I'm going to drop it again. There you go. I'm not sure how to enlarge that. There is no enlarge button on it. You'll see the perfect tubes at right angles. You see that one going over. You'll see the beautiful curvy one there coming out of that rounded one. These are the extra dimensional type of alien UFOs. So I'm not going to press the cursor, the mouse button. Just focus in the center and you'll see the tubes running across. Now he's filmed the orbs flying in and out, and I filmed the orbs actually fly. One orb flew through this, and these are those special formations that obviously are not normal in just normal clouds. So I'll just pause it here and go quickly, but also the one there's got like two rounded spots right there. So these are really, really great images. I'm just going to wait for this large to take a snapshot. It's just, I can't comprehend how these things can be produced, but these are great patterns. So I'll just pause it and or just let this continue. So that's how I zoomed in on that one. Let's see what happens to it. It sort of disappears, but you got all those peculiar shapes there of all sorts. Now, if I fast forward it, I've learned how to fast forward it twice and 4 times, then 16 times. So that's how I just go through this. I'll pause it now because there isn't much more happening. Now on the screen at this point here, we'll see a at 8:32. I'm going to see one, so I'm just going to take it a little bit before that, so I got time to enlarge the screen. So at 8:32, one light will pop up. There it is. It actually went through. I'll pause it again. We did it too quick. So we might have just enough time for the screen to enlarge. It'll be 8. Actually, we've passed that time. One flash happened at 8:10. Okay, the screen is enlarged now. We should be seeing that flash at 8:32. So I'm just going to let it go. We just saw another one, so I'm not sure if we should just, it's 7:10. We'll return back to that one. This one will happen at, got a lot of structures in there. So at 8, I'll try to catch it. I'll try to actually catch the moment it appears. Now this is an image from 4th of August 2014 in Sydney. Now I noticed this cloud was peculiar. It had all the structures in there that were taught to me by Laszlo Novak, and he's got YouTube, color spelled for U, UFO, one word. Now he described to me how these orbs actually have specific clouds, and they actually are 3-dimensional. Sorry, 4th-dimensional. And one is caught there spinning. Now it's a very important picture because if I zoom in on it, you'll see it's actually composed of more than, there's 2 or 3 layers to it, and there's an object that goes up and sideways. Now it's a very hard auto capture on the iPhone. So again, just keep the eye on that object right there. It's 40 optic, Sony 106E camera, so it's 40 optic, and it was on infrared 850. So I've actually zoomed in on it a few times, so I don't think I can catch any better. So let's go through and see what it looks like, how quick we're looking at this. Now it happens at 2 seconds. I think we've just missed it. You ready? In an eye blink, it's gone. That's how quick it happens. You just saw it, it zoomed in and just zoomed out at 2 seconds right now. Now, boom, it flies in and spins at a very, very quick speed. Again, just now. See how quick it came in? I'll replay it again for you. That's how easy it is to miss this. Let's go. You see how quick it spun inside and disappeared? Again. There it is. We'll do it once more. Actually, I caught it now just as it started to spin out of that cloud. So I'll try to zoom in if I can get any clearer pictures of it. I don't think I can get anything actually. It just appears all of a sudden. Right now it'll appear. That's it, and it's gone. So to actually try to freeze that is very difficult. There it is. Now I'll try to catch you with the movie camera. I don't think I'll be able to do it. It's very, very tricky. So again, just look at it again. It's right there in that spot. It'll appear pretty soon. Let's do it again. And we'll take it back once more. It's a very important capture. So it's so small and so hard to observe that I really try to play it again and again. There it is. The whole cloud is unusual. So if you look at that shape there, you'll just see all these rods. Everywhere you look, you see these strange shapes. It shouldn't be in a normal cloud. So that's how I normally spot the ones that I was taught by Laszlo Novak. How they house the orbs, how they become these three-dimensional homes for these orb UFOs, I don't know. There's one very peculiar shape there. It's a rectangle, so that's why that's very peculiar. I'll also home. Now if I just freeze this image at one other time, we've got that very strange object that repeats. It's like two arms repeating the opening. They're very beautiful things. We've got these strange patterns up here emerging as well. So this one was a beautiful image. Now again, I wouldn't think anything of this until this happened right there. This object just spun out. There it is. That's how quick it happened. And that's why I started to analyze all these shapes here, because I realized at the start they weren't normal. Now, I might even focus on these objects right there as well. I've just caught this UFO orb as it appears, and the image is fantastic. I've actually homed in with the cell phone camera. It shows that point right there, and you'll see a little opening, a perfect round black opening in it, and it will turn all of a sudden into that spinning orb. It's a fantastic image. So I'll just download those images. So if you keep your eye just on that object there, there it is. It just comes out of that opening and quickly spins away. And that was very, very hard to catch. And here we have more of those strange shapes. So I'm just going through a few of those shapes in the clouds. And basically, they're all very, very peculiar. So I'll process the images now. So we've caught this little orb again. Now the important thing is it's got all these round rings in these surrounding clouds. It's as though it flies through these portals in the cloud. See how you got all those tubes there in those clouds? They're very peculiar. It's as though it actually flies through the portals. Now on the film, I processed one of these just opening. There was a black aperture and it just jumped out. It was amazing. So I'm trying to catch it the best I can, but from here I can see it looks the same as the one that I focused in on before. Very hard image to process, very small. So I'll actually just play it now and you watch it spin through. There it is. It has a spinning motion. And I just went through it. Let's go through it again. They're very small and they seem to be coming in and out of that cloud. There it is, right in the center of the screen. This is important because just out of that little hole here, there's a tube that's coming out, and I've zoomed in on that, and it's a perfect round opening to that tube, and that seems to be an object there that's coming up, and that tube comes right out like that. So I've actually zoomed in on that, and that's very unusual. So that'll be processed. Now there's one major opening. It's a very light brown tube. You can hardly see it, and there's like two little dots on top like a Mickey Mouse hat. So it's a perfect opening. I think that's where these little orbs fly out of. That was very hard to catch. And I think that was the last film. Let's go back to this one where it flew out. Now this is important because towards that bit where it actually flew into the clouds, and I paused it, is a quite important piece there too, because it shows you those little circular openings in the clouds. And wow, these are quite important captures today. So I was very, very surprised to capture those, especially those tubes that open up and the small orb just comes straight out of it, bright light. This freeze frame is important. You'll see these very, very hard objects to capture. They're virtually like translucent objects, and you'll see that beautiful tube just curving there. It looks purplish. That area looks purplish, and I've just zoomed in where a tube comes out, and they're the same tubes that I've caught opening up their apertures when these orbs fly out. There's a beautiful shape in there, and one sits there, that tube comes out. They're very hard shapes to see. It's as though these are translucent orbs or creatures actually living there. In this video, I'll quickly analyze the pictures. Now, this is just one other picture from the last series. It's very bizarre. It's like a hat-shaped, bizarre object in those clouds. That's very high infrared. And the strange thing is, it's got symmetry to it. Now, just before I started, I quickly then zoomed in on one cloud. This was on the 4th, and you've got these beautiful shapes occurring, obviously, which I try to analyze because by just fiddling around with this. Now, this again is where I visualized and filmed the portal opening just as the orb flew out. So it's actually coming from within the cloud. The theory is the clouds are used, or they're structures where extra dimensional or alien entities live there, the orbs are there, everything. Now this is the reason I focused on this cloud. That's a very bad zoom because of the quality of the glare from the computer, but you'll see all the curves and round things and everything like that that was in there. So that's why I thought, look, this is a very unusual cloud. These are those orb clouds, or extra dimensional, fourth dimensional. I'm not sure how to classify them, but you got all the tubes, everything running around. Now, each time I zoomed in on that particular cloud, I expected to find portals, and I mean not portals, orbs and things like that, but I'm finding all these other things. Look at that. That's just an object there. You see that round sphere there as well. It isn't a shadow. I really don't know what to make out of it. I've found those creatures living there, like huge creatures with claws and all these. I mean, it sounds crazy, I know that, but see how that black area there, and you've got the objects around it. And I think I've caught one of these um, fourth dimensional creatures somehow. You'll see that object right down there. Let me press the detail. We've got some important things here to analyze. I didn't even notice this. You've got that object going up. There's a rounded object in there, and it looks like all these heavier areas around it. I don't know how to improve this image. It's very difficult image. I've never ever had such images to work with. They're a nightmare. Each time I think I reach something, it just throws me right out again. I have to use all the highlights and everything opposite any other things I've analyzed. There's a rounded object in there, and I think that is one of these creatures. You'll see that little process there. Looks like a tube or something coming out. You'll see some processes there as well. It is a very difficult thing to analyze. Look at that. There is an object there. Now, I'll show you how quickly I see the patterns there that shouldn't be there, and that's where I zoom in. Sometimes it's paid off very well. Sometimes here you scratch your head and think, well, move on. They're just cloud shapes. Well, they're not, because when I now caught an orb coming from a portal in that cloud, that's the most important thing I've ever found. And here again are these peculiar shapes, which I'm trying to show you. And I'm using all the opposite movements on this histogram or whatever that I've used anywhere. You see all the curly patterns there, those rounded cylinders, the tubes leading out all angles. These are not normal images. So are these fourth dimensional objects that have hooked onto our clouds, and they're actually traveling around unseen? Or have they always been here? Have they always been here? Except we haven't been able to analyze them that well. I think orbs are generally, even in World War II, they saw the orbs flying, so I'm not sure. Okay, we'll move on. These are just to you look like, okay, here we go. This is the money shot. This appeared so quickly in a split second or less than a second. It literally just zoomed out and entered the cloud again. Now, I saw the portal one frame before open up right there, and I actually caught that. Now, this looks like it's composed of several layers, which I'll go through. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a dark area on top, and that makes it spin. You'll see that it's very hard on this picture. Again, you'll see 3 objects. I'll try one other picture. If you look at the shadows, there's like 3 objects. 1, 2, 3. They go out and at right angles. And that's why you can't see in the center of it. And they spin at a fantastic speed. And how do I get this image? There it is. There's one there. Okay, I'll try to work on this one for you. These are very important shots. I've never ever seen anything come out of a portal before. Can you see what I'm trying to show you? There's one going up and out, one is up there, and one goes up and out like that. They're very hard images to look at. The only way is to throw it in the other system where full colors come out. So I'll have to. This is where I used a video camera on there, and all I do is just try to zoom in at different angles. Now, I actually filmed one as well as it came out, and I think this is the film. You see it pop out now. Actually, it's so quick, I missed it. Okay, let's try the other one. Hmm. Again, it's so quick I missed it. Let's try it again. There it is. Okay, finally I caught it. Let's go. I wasted your time. We'll see it about there, I think. It pops out. That's the portal that opens up there, and you'll see we see activity here. Oh my God, I haven't seen this before. You'll see those very fine lines there. They are a structure. That these things don't happen accidentally. Now, when I zoom in now, that's the best I can do, guys. There it is there. You'll see that object come up there. That's a portal. Wow, that's how quick it moves. Let's do it again. Keep your eye on that center now. That's it. I'll stop it right there. It's a very hard one. There it is, and it just flows out. It just jumps out, literally. This was very hard to catch. I've never had that much trouble trying to catch something. There it is there. You just saw it spin. There it is again. There it is again. Very hard. I don't want to repeat that. It is so difficult. Now these are those peculiar clouds in there. They're all square shapes and they're very luminous objects. Um, the whole thing just had all these very bizarre ET shapes in there. I'll call them ET shapes. That they aren't of this world. Clouds wouldn't have those shapes in them. These are extraterrestrial living quarters. Um, there it is there again. So I'm just going through all those strange shapes that appeared obviously in this cloud. And that's the reason I kept looking very closely. Now the orb appeared again later on. Look at that. Look at those shapes. And these are infrared. So I'm looking at objects and shapes and extraterrestrial figures in there using infrared. Um, that was a wonderful shape. This is similar to the ones I've seen over Brazil. They're a double. They got like that area in the front. Then they're like hollow honeycomb shapes. Um, they're beautiful. The one that I saw in Brazil was like beautiful red glow. We've got something important here as well. Now I'm trying to come to the portal. Here's the portal. Just this is where the orb literally comes out of there and starts to spin. It was a spectacular shot. This is very hard to believe. I've actually caught this for the first time, I think, anywhere I've seen anyone analyze this. This is where I saw on film that orb little. It was so little. It's actually quite a few researchers like Laszlo Novak say it's actually coming behind the cloud. But I actually visualized it came from that area, it popped out and it swung to the left. Now, this is going to be a beautiful picture on full color mode as well. Can you see that perfect round circle there? The orb has materialized from this portal. Now, I've actually caught some other portals as well. That's the key of this whole video. That is the spot where I saw that just open up. It's amazing. Here's the picture again. Now, if I fiddle around with all the settings on the histogram, which I have to for these pictures, I'm getting a perfect opening. I've never ever seen this. And I've caught one more I filmed. It was a light brown tube, and there was a round aperture like this as well. Okay, I've just really stuffed this up now. I'll have to revert it to the original. There's too much pixelation, so sometimes it works. In most times it works. In this case, everything is opposite. In all these pictures, I go histogram all the way down, and I go contrast all the way to get something. And there it is there. It is a perfect, perfect image. That's how close I'm working with the objects there. This is the second orb. Now, a few people say, well, it's above the cloud, but Laszlo has filmed them going inside a huge mothership 2004 cloud. See what I mean? That's the one I filmed, which I caught as well. Now, I can't get any good zooms of that. It wasn't as clear as that other one, which I caught, where it had those layered effects to them. I'm coming up to that portal soon now as well. I actually saw that. It was fantastic. I just saw this light brown. Now, these are these weird shapes where this last orb was seen. They're like perfectly round shapes. Now, clouds wouldn't make such shapes. There it is there. So these are these ET objects that use the cloud and hide in the cloud. Hard to understand, but see how that curves in and goes in. Next one. This is the picture of the object. Again, here's that other portal. This shot to me was like, you've got to be kidding me, I've caught you. So I was playing the video, and what you see there, now this has really brought up something right here. You'll see that rounded object's got two little dots there, but there's a light brown tube coming around like that. You can just see the opening of that tube. Now, I'll try to alter the... I think these are these portals that allow the orbs to fly out at very, very rapid speeds. Has that helped? Not really. There's too many pixels there, so I'll have to revert back to the original. When I revert back to the original, I'll just play with the histograms itself rather than clarity, because the clarity just ruined everything for me. And this really brings that up, but in this case I'm not getting much more. That's what it looked like, and that's it really. That's the original there. You'll see the black rounded area. On my picture I had that light brown tube going like that. I can't bring it up anywhere. So really there's not much to do in this picture. It is so difficult. It's just a hue. And it's so light, it's so bright that the only way to see it is in the original picture. So I'm not going to touch it. It's very light brown. It just comes around and there's a perfect black opening there. light brown tube, perfect opening. Now if I play with the histograms, it might cut out the things I don't need, but you lose the hue, that beautiful brown hue. It's the first time I haven't been able to play around with the histograms. Now, in these clouds, I did see these beautiful objects popping up, and this is where this works. I go all the way to the extreme. This is infrared, obviously. You see there's beautiful, like trees in there, or shapes that are just shouldn't be there in a cloud. See what I mean? If I really go for that all the way, that's where I get magic appearing. There's a tube that goes up there, turns sideways. It looks like an energy life form. Just actually, I'll return back to that one and zoom it. These are these things that I'm finding. See that thing there? It goes up and turns to the right. The original picture is, I can see that. I actually see that clearest at a nighttime on my iPhone cam, because I'm holding it there. I'm watching TV and analyzing the pictures, and because the room's dark, I get all these hues, and see that it's like a beautiful tree sitting there on the cloud. You see the top part there, see that tube there. That's as close as I can get to the a life form that's in that cloud. Those big dark blue tubes in there, you see them there? They're like ET life forms in that cloud. And what I'm looking at was during a daytime. It's actually a white cloud. So that's how far I've zoomed in and actually analyzed these pictures. Look at that. See that blue tube go up and go sideways. You'll see like a creature, a tree. It's just perched there on that cloud. See what I mean? These are not fictitious things. I think they're in some sort of other dimension, interdimensional. I was told by one person on Facebook. Look at that. Look at that. You'll see processes going out of it. I've caught other ones a lot better. So these ones I'm not that happy with the quality, but once I homed in and I saw them, I knew something's there. The quality, I'm sorry about the quality, but since it's there, I'll just analyze it quickly. See what I mean? There's something just there. It's a noduly, there's processes from the side. Here we go. This is a great image because you'll see that tube goes up to the right. You'll see the rounded holes in it, and you'll see what looks like that object coming out there. These are like, I don't know what they are. Look at it. Can you see it? It's interdimensional. The infrared picked it up. It's living in a cloud. The orbs come out of that cloud, out of the portals. These are some other life form. I don't think they're from this Earth. See that object there? And the area around it is intense light. There's an energy field. It's very, very, very intense. See what I'm trying to show you? See how difficult that is? That object goes up and sideways. There's that thing there. I'm just hoping for these pictures now to stop. There it is. That is a beautiful picture. See that object there? That shape of it. Now, I'll try to take a picture of that using the iPhone in a dark room. The only way I can analyze these sometimes is to take pictures again using the iPhone and then alter the resolution and contrast on the iPhone. This is a special one because I've seen objects that are there which now the phone is picking up that bright light as well, so I have to try to do it very quickly. to actually catch images from a computer screen as well, and trying not to catch all the other areas there, it isn't easy. So that's why I'm trying to capture this before I lose it. And in the image you'll see all these lifelike processes there. I'm actually looking at some sort of life form there. I hope you can see the same thing. These are very, very difficult images to get. There is something there. Those lines, that two lines up there. Now I've seen this previously, that sort of object. Oh my god, I think I see something right there. It goes up and sideways. I'll go right to the extreme on that hog, on the histogram. There's an object there, and this one as well. I'll try to take a picture of. It is extremely, extremely difficult what I'm trying to do. These are very minute. Uh, you'll see that there. You'll see like 1, 2, 3, like a crown there. There's a rounded object there, and then all of a sudden it's like a crown going up and going over. It's virtually the same as that. You'll see that object go over and go sideways. That's as close to what I'm actually zooming in and looking at life on here. I've never ever experienced this before. The histogram goes completely opposite to what I'm used to doing with the histogram. These images are just fantastic. I just can't stop looking at these life forms. See those patterns there? There's not much happening in that one, so I'll just jump it. I'll quickly jump these anyway. I don't think I've got much happening. I can't do much for that one. Okay, here's our UFO. And on here I'm trying to show you've got darker areas around it that go sideways. Now I'll have to revert back to the original and just do very slight alterations on it. Very, very slightly, because I'm starting to lose the color. And this thing spun very, very quickly. This is where I saw that black thing just go up, up, up and sideways. So it's as though they are the actual spinning objects. Very hard to see. I just saw it on the iPhone. I can't actually see it on here. That's how difficult these things are to process. Now this one I actually won't even adjust it. The black areas around it you can barely see it. I see it clearly in the dark.